Drafting the Magic features the thoughts and opinions expressed by Christian Ilton, Eric Pessolano, and today's guest, and do not in any way reflect the views or opinions of the Walt Disney Company or any of its subsidiaries. Hey, welcome back everybody to Drafting the Magic. That's Eric, I'm Christian, and we are getting set for another exciting draft. Episode 52, Eric, and now we're getting really serious about this. First off, the scoreboard. 6-5, Christian's on top right now for the season. For the entirety of our podcast, I'm going to be honest, I don't know. You need to go back and listen to our podcast. Then you can actually know who's winning and who's losing. That's how you know about all of this on the entire length of this podcast. But this is the 52nd episode, and we're using our minds to really think about the details on this one, Eric.
Yeah, so let me translate for what Christian just said. Go back and count for us.
Anyway, yeah, please.
Yes, the details are important. We've done ride vehicles in the past, or attraction vehicles. This is a little different. We're going to talk about comfortability of attractions, which is very important for somebody as tall as I am.
Or taller.
We were talking with our good buddy Dustin Geisler, who was a guest judge on this show
Episode
a while
5.
back, and yeah, he and I are tall, but not everybody's tall. Everybody who's not as tall still wants to be comfortable too. And what are we finding as the most comfortable attraction vehicles throughout the Disneyland Resort?
Yeah, it's there. It's funny. So as soon as we decided this, I started looking. I was like, "Well, I know it's not this, and it's not that, and I've got more knots than comfortable." So, Disneyland, if you're listening, might need to work on it. I know it's a safety thing, and you can't just have padded couches for like Mater's Junkyard Jamboree, but like
You could.
you could do something better.
And I had the same struggle you did. I'm going through. Look, I'll be honest, right? I use the Disneyland app because everything's right there in front of you to be able to count everything and find what you need. And it was just a constant barrage of nope, nope,
Yep.
nope. And usually, my strategy is I'll look at about 10 things, right? If I have 10 things on my list, you can only take 5 of those. I'll have another 5.
Yeah.
So that's where I go to, and getting to 10 was very hard.
Yeah, it's not, there's some that just are not good. It's not
Yeah.
good. But I don't know, we might mix in a couple things. There's a couple things that like, it's not great, but it could be better. And the other thing that really matters, and I can't wait to talk to Matt about this, is like, it matters if I'm sitting next to somebody. A vehicle becomes a lot more comfortable if I'm the only person in it. Even Mater's, which is a terrible example because it's not fun anyway. But if I'm sitting next to somebody, that becomes way more uncomfortable because they're slamming into you when you go around the corner. So this is going to be a wild episode, but I'm excited for it. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. Let's see. Hey, who's judging today?
Well, Eric, today I'm really excited. We've got Matthew Krul here. Matthew, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Hey, we're glad to have you with us. So you are the man of Imaginationskyway, but you've done things for WDW magazine and all of this stuff. Tell us a little bit about how you fell in love with Disney and why you are so geared to Imagineering. Tell us your story.
It's a lifelong passion. My parents took me to Walt Disney World for the first time when I was 4 months old, and we've been going. We went as a family every year when I was a kid. I continued that when I became an adult. I maybe didn't go every year as an adult, but especially in my college years, couldn't always afford to take that frequent Walt Disney World vacation. But I ended up doing the Disney College program. I worked at the Disney store, did a professional internship at Disney. And while it's not my full-time role today, I work in a completely different realm. I had this idea to develop this podcast, and it focused around Imagineering, which to your point, or your question, when I went to the park as a kid, I was always most impressed by or most in love with the world building that Disney created. It took me decades to figure out that that's what it was. But the world building of Disney is what I have always loved the most. So I gravitated to asking myself questions. How did they build this? How did this ride come into existence? Who decided what the layout's going to be? Who builds these animatronics? Like I was always curious about that. So when I learned when I was about, I think, 8 or 9 years old, that there was a department called Walt Disney Imagineering, and they built the Disney parks and resorts. I wanted to know more about them. I bought books. We went to Disney. They have this book from, I think, 1998. That's a book about Walt Disney Imagineering, one of the first ones they made. Bought Imagineering field guides when they came around in the early 2000s. Once the internet came into existence, I was looking at documentaries or interviews. I watched the Imagineer That interstitial on Disney Channel that's now back on YouTube. So I was always fascinated with that world building and uncovering how Disney does this world building and how they make the magic come to life. So that's what I decided to focus my podcast on. It's what I had all this knowledge about sitting in my head and no one around me to talk about it with. And now I've got a community of people who enjoy hearing the same facts and trivia that I do. So it's a nice, rewarding podcast to produce.
That's
Well,
awesome, man. Tell
well,
people where they can find before I let Eric talk because
Yeah.
I like keeping him in the corner. Tell people where they can find all of your info before I let Eric talk.
Very simple. If you search for Imagination Skyway on any podcast app, you will probably find it. If you don't, just go to imaginationskyway.com. And I am most active on Instagram and Facebook if you search for Imagination Skyway there.
All right, Eric, now you can talk.
I was going to ask him the same thing you just did, so that's perfect. Anyway,
You're on the same page.
yeah, we are. And you know what? I think we're all going to be on the same page because Christian, we picked a pretty good topic to have somebody who's so into Imagineering. I think, attraction vehicles very important for somebody as tall as I am. So this ought to be a fun one here today.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
specific design. What's the most comfortable attraction vehicle at the Disneyland Resort? The Disneyland Resort has some doozies. All right, let's be honest. We talked about it in our pre-show. It ain't. There are not a lot of padded seats. It's not the best. So we'll see how this goes. But we've got Matthew Krul here as our guest judge. This is episode 52 of Drafting the Magic, drafting up the most comfortable seats or comfortable attraction vehicles at the Disneyland Resort. And Eric, you have the first pick, and this could be a big first pick, man.
This this could be a really big first pick, and I'm very interested to see what both of you have to say about it because I was doing my research last night and I selected this as number one. Again, as somebody who's tall, so my thoughts maybe sway a little bit differently than everybody else's. But most of the ride vehicles at the Disneyland Resort are hard. They're hard surfaces. They tend to hurt if you're on there for a long
All right.
time. So how comfortable can you get when you have a mesh back and a mesh seat? I'm taking Soarin at number one because to me it's the most comfortable seat on the entire property.
This was up there for me. I was thinking about this one, and I'm really annoyed that you took it in the first round. But that's okay. The real question is, how does Matthew think about Soarin' around the world? It's a terrible ride. We know it's a terrible video, but the attraction is magnificent. What do you think about the seating on Soarin' around the world?
I would admit it's pretty comfortable. I never really realized when I was sitting on the vehicle, I never thought about it being comfortable or uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It's certainly not an easy chair. It's not cushioned and it's not something I would necessarily want to rest on all day, but it is also not an uncomfortable seat because I'm thinking about it and I never really think about the seat being there. I'm just so into the attraction itself. So
Mm-hmm.
I would admit it's a pretty comfortable chair.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, Eric. And I actually thought it exactly the way he did. Of, do I want to sit in there all day? No, but when I'm on that ride, I'm not thinking, oh, this chair sucks. Like,
Yeah. By the way, Christian, we forgot to mention the rules. So real
oh
quick,
yeah,
have to have experienced it. We know that. Big rule today, we cannot take more than one attraction from any single land. So I can't go back to Grizzly Peak as
you
much as I
suck.
would like to.
Oh, bummer. All right, well, I'm gonna go into my first round, over to the Disneyland side of the Disneyland park, and I'm going to go because there are not many roller coasters at Disneyland that have padded seats.
Hmm.
Give me Big Thunder Mountain here in round one because if I'm going on a roller coaster, I need a padded seat, and there are not many. Give me Big Thunder Mountain here. It's not the best. I'm not going to sit here and say it's the best, but I don't really think there are a bunch of great ride vehicle comfortable. If I sit in Big Thunder Mountain, I'm doing a little bit better than usual, Eric.
Yeah, I did have this on my list. I actually tried to have AI search for me padded seats at Disneyland.
Hmm.
This is one of the ones that came up, of course. So nice pick, Matthew. What do you think about Big Thunder Mountain?
Well, now I'm trying to remember. The padding is on the back, but not
Hmm.
on the seat itself, correct?
I think
Or
it's
am I
on
mis
both.
It's on both.
It is on both?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, especially when it comes to this attraction, you have a lot of airtime in particular moments, so you
Yeah.
want something to cushion your impacts as you go over a bunny hill or a sudden drop.
Hmm.
And yeah, it is again one of those cases where I normally don't think about roller coaster seats as being comfortable.
Hmm.
But when I'm thinking about the attractions at Disneyland and which one actually is cushioned and which one is the most comfortable, it's rattling my brain trying to remember all of them. It's not something this is not something I often think about. Like
No.
I'm so into the design of the vehicles and the personality of the vehicles, but less so how cushioned are they?
Yeah.
Because I'm not walking into a furniture store to try to pick out my
Sure.
furniture, with this. But yeah, I would admit it is a comfortable seat. For a roller coaster, it's a comfortable seat. I've certainly been on uncomfortable roller coaster seats, and this is not one of them for the duration of the ride.
They might even come up in this draft. We'll see. But yeah, that's the thing, right? Like we don't think about this when we go to the
Mm.
parks because we think about these amazing things that they've built. Well, that seat is part of it. And so, the mindset and I think those bunny hills are absolutely a reason why that you have to have some kind of padding because otherwise you're going to destroy people's tailbones. Like it is that ride can get rough. So that is round one. Very opposite experiences. Eric flies around in the sky. I go on a ghost train or a runaway train or whatever the official storyline is now that they keep switching back and forth on. But Eric, you now go to round two here of our draft, and
Yeah.
you cannot go to Grizzly Peak.
No. So sorry, Grizzly River Run,
No.
unfortunately, will not be part of my list today. So I'm gonna fly around again, kind of. And this is a pick that might perk up the ears of producer Carl.
Ah,
I
we're going to
don't,
Star Wars.
yes, but which Star Wars?
I think
Because
you're going to Falcon.
there's three of them. Oh, you think I'm going to Falcon?
Oh,
Interesting.
you're not going to go to Star Tours.
I'm going to Star
Oh
Tours.
my
And let me tell you
gosh.
why I'm going to Star Tours. Because first of all, it is padded, right? It is not the softest padding in the world, but it is padded nonetheless because we're already running out of padding for this whole draft.
True.
You have your own armrest. Yes, I know it's one armrest in between two seats, but it is split and everybody gets their own.
Hmm.
You need something to hang on because that thing rattles you around quite a bit. The seat belts aren't too bad. I don't think you got stuff underneath your seat, which doesn't really matter. The netting to hold things. As much as I used to work at Star Tours. As much as I despise that attraction, I think the seats itself are actually quite comfortable, and for that amount of jostling, I think you need it. So I'm taking it at number two.
That is an interest. I'm going to let Matthew give his thoughts here because I have other thoughts, but I don't want to sway him one way or the other.
So I don't know what help I'm going to be. I'm not sure how familiar you are with me personally, because something I share occasionally on the show, but don't as all the time. I get motion sick on certain attractions, so that includes Star Tours, and so I've personally never sat in a Star Tours vehicle, so I
Mm,
cannot give an
Mm.
answer here.
that
And this
is,
is this is why we don't do a ton of research on the
yep,
guests firsthand because we
yep.
don't want to be swayed one
That's
way or another.
awesome. That's
I'm not
awesome
going to
from
have
you.
that count against anything, but
I
I
will.
I actually have no personal experience with sitting in a Star Tour seat. If they had a test seat outside, I might be able to try that out, but
Mm,
they don't.
yeah.
But they don't. And also, I get motion sickness on there too.
Mm. It is
But at least you ride it. At least you ride it. I
I
can't even. I wouldn't handle it.
it is
I
the most uncomfortable seat in the resort. I do not know how you can consider
Are
that
you
comfortable.
kidding
It is the
me?
worst. It is the worst
No, it's
seat.
not. No, it's
Those are
not.
the worst seats. Anyway,
No, there is much, much worse, and you know it. Stop it.
Oh
Anyway,
my goodness. All right. Okay. All right. So going to my round two pick, I'm going to go to a place that I think they could have done a lot worse. And I'm not going to say they've done great, but I'm going to say they could have done a lot worse. I'm going to go to Disney California Adventure. If I know I have to sit next to three other people, I need to have some space. Give me on web slingers here in round two. The amount of room they gave you on that attraction, I was expecting it to be terrible. Those benches are quite wide. You've got an opportunity. Is it the most comfortable bench? Not really, but given the I could have a bunch of other people in here. Like if I go to Toy Story Mania, they're talking about the worst seat on the planet. That thing is rock hard, and then I'm using the thing and I'm destroying my elbow because it's hitting the back of the wall. I feel like they did web slingers right. Give me on web slingers here in round two. I hope this is not a motion simulation issue though, or round two could be a complete wipe. What do you think, Matthew?
It's not a motion simulation issue. I'm just trying to remember the seat now. And I think you're right that it does provide more room than some other vehicles. So if
Hmm.
you are looking for space around you, especially considering, yeah, the width of the vehicle, um, especially if you're a smaller party, it could be very spacious and comfortable. And I think, is it cushioned or is it this type of softer
I
plastic?
think it's the softer plastic. I don't think it's got
Yeah.
a cushion, but it is a softer plastic than the rock hard that you would get over at Toy Story Mania.
Yeah. So again, I'm trying to think, would I sit in this all day at
Probably
home?
not.
No. But does it
I
work
mean,
at Disneyland? Yes. If I'm stuck on the attraction for downtime, it takes 15, 20 minutes. Am I starting to fidget in my chair a little bit? I think probably not. So I think this, from a ride vehicle perspective, is a comfortable pick.
You also have that big lap bar that comes down, but it doesn't really come down all the way. That's another thing that we didn't really even talk about with comfortability is how far the lap
That's
bar
true.
has to destroy your gut or whatever it might be. Eric, what do you think of web slingers here?
I thought about it and then immediately said no
Yeah,
because
fair enough.
benches like that on attractions, I think I left them off entirely.
Hmm.
Foreshadowing.
Wow.
But that doesn't mean I won't take one
All
because
right.
who knows what you're going to do over the next few picks,
That's
right?
true.
So we'll see
All
how
right.
that goes.
Round three.
And in round three, I am taking a bench. So, but it's a different kind of bench, and it is one that does not require a lap bar at all. I think this is something that if you're going to sit down on and you're going to be there for a while, it's good for the lower back. I have never had a problem with it. The benches themselves kind of slope a little bit, right, as they go down into the backing of the seat. How about the Disneyland Railroad? Huh?
Mm.
No seat belts, no nothing. It kind of curves down in there. A lot of people who ride it, may not be the first ride of the day. You might be walking around a bit. You might use it as transportation. But sitting on that for a while, I mean, I kind of sink back into that thing, and I think it's quite comfortable. So I'm going to take that at number three.
That's not a bad pick because yeah, people do that all day, right? Like there's some people that want to just sit on the train all day. So I guess that is that I could sit there all day. I don't know if I would. Also, slight note, I still haven't been to my knowledge, I still have not been on the train where you can sit facing forward and it makes me so angry
Yeah, I
because
don't
I
know
just
that
want to
I
get on
have
that.
either.
I want to get on that train so
Yeah.
bad. But anyway, Matthew, what do you think of Eric taking the Disneyland Railroad here in round three?
This might be the attraction I have sat on the longest
Hmm.
of any. I have to think about it, but I think it might be the attraction I've sat on the longest. And you're right. It's not an uncomfortable seat. It feels like a park bench.
Hmm.
And so I think and this one is probably intentionally designed to be more comfortable for a longer period of time, because especially if you're taking that Grand Circle tour, could be a 20-minute experience, and it's going to take more time than if you're riding web slingers or Star Tours or Soarin'. So this one is a good answer.
Whoa, it's a good answer. You even got a good
That
answer out of that.
might
Wow.
be the best number three pick of all time.
That might be. It
Okay.
might be. It might be. It's a pretty good one. Again, I still want to face forward though. I want to.
I haven't done that either.
I
It's
just
just a
need to
matter of
wait.
timing, right?
And here's the thing, it's a patience thing, right? Like if I
Yeah.
get up to that thing and then like it takes forever for a train to show up and then it's just the one that faces, I don't know, the people or faces the park, we get over it, right? I get on the, maybe I just need to wait next time. It's fine. It's fine. I'm
Come to
gonna do
Magic
it.
Kingdom. You got forward or backwards now with the
Yeah, I don't know about that.
express
That
service.
is
That's right.
that's something. That is I don't know why our train didn't do that when Galaxy's Edge was being put in. Like that was like, oh, we have to take down the whole thing. No, you could have just gone back and forth, or maybe ours can't. I don't know.
I think they've learned because they did the same thing when Tron was being built at
Yep.
Magic Kingdom. They
Mm.
closed the railroad
Yeah.
for a few years, and I think they realized that people liked the railroad, so they came up with the solution.
Yeah.
Took a
Also,
couple of tries.
I'll fight anybody on this. The Walt Disney World Railroad needs something, man. It needs something. It needs like a scene with dinosaurs or something, man. Like it's just
A
all
primeval
seat.
world.
Yeah.
I keep kicking our microphone here, so I apologize to the people at home. But yeah, and we need a primeval world. Give me a Grand Canyon. I don't know. I don't know. But now it's time for my round three, and I'm going to another roller coaster. Because
Mm.
it can be very, very uncomfortable to be on a roller coaster. But when you have your own seat and your own lap bar in that seat, it makes it a little bit easier. And I'm going to make at least one viewer really angry because he's too tall to go on it. But give me Space Mountain at Disneyland as our number three pick for Christian's side. I will say, when it comes to sitting in that seat versus other seats, I'm pretty comfortable. I know a couple people aren't. Our buddy Dustin, who we were just recently talking to, is too tall to go on Space Mountain here at the Disneyland Resort. So it cannot be comfortable for some, but for me, I love it. Eric, put me on Space Mountain. I don't usually take Space Mountain in Disneyland because the one in Florida is far superior. But
Yeah,
when it
okay.
comes to comfort, it is not. It is not comfortable. It is very nice at the Disneyland Resort. Eric, I'm taking it here in round three.
I'm fine with it. I considered it. I know Dustin has a hard time with it. I typically don't. I'm usually fine with it. I think it's an okay pick. Matthew, what are your thoughts?
This, I think, is a comfortable roller coaster
There we go.
chair. I do, and I'm an average height guy, so I think like literally the
Sure.
average height of a male is my height. So I think so for me, I guess it's a little different than if you were taller. Which I think if you're talking about height on Space Mountain, the one in Magic Kingdom is a lot more restrictive than the
Mm,
one
Hmm.
in Disneyland, especially because just getting in and out of that seat
Hmm.
yeah.
at Disney, it was like Matterhorn, right? At
Yeah.
Disneyland. So I do think that from a roller coaster seat perspective, every time I sit in that Space Mountain chair, I do think about how comfortable it is.
hmm Give me that. Give me with a single lap bar. The fact that I've got my own lap bar versus the next person next to me, that's a big deal.
The
I don't
lap bar
know.
is
I don't know.
comfortable. Yeah, and they do that. I mean, it's you get some tight turns in there and a few quick little drops. So you
Hmm
do need that cushioning as you're riding
Yeah.
along the track.
Yeah, I love it. That's my round three pick, Eric. And now we go to round four. We are zooming right along today.
Yeah, we are. I am gonna go a little outside the box here. And I had thought about this
It better
at
not be what
length.
I'm thinking about because I've
I,
been thinking about something out of the box too.
oh boy, we're about to find out. I'm gonna stick in Disneyland for this next pick. So three picks in a row coming from Disneyland, going with another classic and something that gives you options. You don't have to sit. You can stand up and walk around all you like. I'm taking Mark Twain. I tell you,
Ooh.
I tell you what. I mean, I know the seating is a little bit limited, right? But I mean, if you get a seat and then a little bit of way through, you're like, you know what? I'm going to walk around the ship. Why not? So not necessarily about sitting down here. I'll take Mark Twain at four.
I did not have the Mark Twain riverboat going on this list. Mainly because I don't think I've ever sat down on it. But that might not keep it away from being an option here. So, Matthew, you're the guest judge. So it really depends on your opinion on this thought. But Mark Twain riverboat here in round four.
I think what makes this comfortable is you don't have to sit.
It's
And
true.
Hmm.
It's true.
I'm trying to think, have I ever sat on the Mark Twain? Because I do like to stand whenever I can. And in that case, the it's a welcome seat if I do feel the need to sit down, and there's great scenery that comes with it. So I like the fact that you don't have to sit. That makes it comfortable. But then when you do sit, or I don't know if the seats are comfortable or not. I don't know if I can remember sitting on it. Uh, but I'll take your word for it.
It's not bad. And for my round
Yeah.
four pick, the sailing ship. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. Okay. So round four for me, and this is where I'm like, okay, I'm running out of things that I consider comfortable. So
Same.
we are very much on the final end here. As much as I would love to take it because there's only so many drafts for our show left before they take out Monsters Inc. It's not going. All right, that's a terrible bench. It's the least comfortable bench of all the benches. But I'm gonna go to a reimagined attraction
Hmm.
in Disney California Adventure. And I would never take its sister, its cousin, whatever it would be, in Disneyland. Because in Disneyland, well, that carousel was designed 150 years ago or whatever it was. Give me Jesse's Creator Carousel here in round four because those benches have been, or those seats rather, are not they weren't designed in 1955, all right? They redesigned that for people in 2020s and 2020, the 2020, I don't remember when they reopened it, but 2019, whatever it was. That is a little bit more comfortable of a carousel than the one in Disneyland. Those horses, it's just you're sitting on a real skinny horse and it doesn't exactly feel great. Give me the carousel here in round four, Jesse's Critter Carousel at Disney California Adventure. Eric, have you even been on that one yet?
Nope.
All right, then. Well, we'll see if Matthew's been on it because he's got a perplexed look as well.
Never done it.
Ah, see, there we go. All right,
We got to wash.
we got to watch.
I'm looking at photos now, just trying to
Mm,
refresh my memory. I will say that looking at it, there's one seat that they have the seats that move, but then they also have the stationary
hmm
benches. And I'm looking at one that's actually cushioned.
Cushions are great. We love cushions.
Front,
That's not.
the back and the seat
hmm
cushioned.
Yeah,
So,
it's a big
that
deal.
might not be a bad way to go.
See that it's a wash because he's never been on it. He's never been on Star Tours. That makes the round five a lot more important, which is gonna be
Yeah.
terrifying. And we'll have to see where Eric goes here in round five, the final round.
This might be the first time that I have zero clue on what to do here because I don't the ones I have left on my list here aren't necessarily comfortable. They're the most comfortable out of
It's
everything left.
it's so funny because a guy like Matthew, like I want to do like the Imagineering's greatest hits,
Yeah,
right? But like no Omnimover feels fantastic, right? Like
yeah,
we're just
right.
like, like that, like there's just certain things that I'm not. It's not that comfortable. So we'll have to see where you
You
go.
look forward to Mansion when it goes, down to the graveyard just so you
Exactly.
can lay back for a
And
second. It's
Mermaid
not.
too. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I even tried to Google some images to see. I couldn't remember if Mermaid had padding or not. It does not.
it doesn't.
Nope.
Nope.
Okay, let's see. What am I gonna do here? I got a couple options.
You're gonna take the monorail because
I
it's
can't
such
I can't
great.
take I cannot take the
Oh, that's
monorail.
right. You can't. You already
I
went to
already took Star
Tomorrowland.
Tours. It
Oh
was on my
shoot, that takes out Nemo for me. Darn it. Anyway.
Oh no. Oh. All right, let me go with I have two in mind. They are in the same land. So it's kind of bouncing back and forth. The seat itself, based on the seat itself, is more comfortable than the other attraction in the land. I think both are fine.
Oh, this will be good.
Turning to your side to hit some buttons, not great. The seat itself is totally comfortable. I am
Wow.
gonna take Smuggler's Run, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run here at number five, because again, padding's got to rule all here for a little bit. Feels like you're sitting in a car. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna go here at number five. I don't feel great about it, but I did it anyway.
Oh, way to sell your pick there, buddy.
I, you know,
Well, I've been on Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run more times in the last month and a half than I had my entire life previous because my oldest, the only kid I have currently, is finally. I guess he is the youngest right now. He's finally tall enough to go on Smuggler's Run, and he loves the spaceship ride. He also loves the ride that Uncle insert name here because I wouldn't throw him under the bus works at the Disneyland Resort. So, yeah, yeah,
The bucket seats,
I
right?
mean,
And they're
yeah,
it's more comfortable than Rise to me.
I
Rise is
suppose.
fine,
I
you know.
suppose. Yeah, but I mean, it's Rise is Mickey and Minnie's. Like it's just
Yeah,
it wasn't designed to be comfortable. It was designed to look around, and
right.
then you worry about your back problems once you're off the ride. Anyway, Matthew, what do you think? Going to Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run here in round five. Wait a second, that's a motion simulator.
Oh, I totally
Yeah,
forgot. Son of a
yeah, that's a
bee.
motion simulator, so I haven't done it. But
I
I
totally
have seen
forgot.
photos of the seats and they do look comfortable. So I would imagine if I were to sit in it, I would be comfortable, especially given how much it can jostle around. So yeah, I'm imagining it's a comfortable seat, but personally have not sat in it myself.
That might be the first time ever. Like we've had plenty of things. We're like, oh, we didn't know that about you, right? His Star Wars pick in round three.
Yeah.
Didn't know about that about you. I didn't know that you hadn't been on the carousel. That might be the first time in the history of these drafts where somebody doubled down anyway.
Well,
Did it
remember,
anyway.
I'm based on the East Coast, so yes, I do get out to Disneyland, but it is not
Sure.
as frequent, and so I'm more of a we'll call it like once every year or two type of Disneyland guest. I'm not
Sure.
spending a ton of time out there. It's often tied to D23. So
Hmm.
I'm usually like one day, a day and a half. This last trip was the longest I did at 3 park days. So I'm not necessarily going to hit every attraction. So
Sure.
Jesse's Critter Carousel
It's an
with my
easy one to
daughter
cut.
there, yes. With my daughter there, yes. But I generally have other things I'm getting to. So
Yeah, that's an easy
yeah,
one
that's
to
just
cut.
the reason why. Yeah.
But also all five of my picks are essentially attractions on the East Coast too. And you would have thought
That's
that would
true.
have you thought that would have helped if I would have remembered things. What an
Oh my
idiot.
gosh, that's
All
so
of them
funny.
are on the East Coast. You're right.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I mean the Liberty Bell's gone, but
Well,
I mean, yeah, it's
it
still
used to
these,
be.
all five of yours are on the East Coast. And,
Yeah,
Liberty Bell is a great example. I mean, I went to Walt Disney World. I've gone to Disney World a lot. So,
yeah. I mean, you could still go across the from the Ticket and Transportation Center on a riverboat. Don't freak out, Walt
yeah,
Disney
yeah.
World people. You still have a big boat,
Still have a big boat.
and it's gonna be cooler now. I'm one of those. I'm now on the optimistic side of the whole cars thing. Like I'm like, okay, the riverboat was they weren't taking care of it. This is gonna be a good change. Anyway,
I know it's not
so
what this is all about, but I'm in your camp, Christian.
yeah, right.
I
Like
agree.
they
Three for
weren't
three.
taking care of it. And the only reason Disneyland's is going to stay is because of Fantasmic. Like, unless they completely just rethink that show. But like, you have to have the island here. You didn't need it out there. You don't do it. You don't utilize it enough. Anyway, sorry, Disney World people. It's okay. You don't have to hate me. I know you still do, but you don't have to.
You don't have to.
All right. So my round five pick. Lot of options when it comes to land still, right? But once you get in those lands, you're like, well, that's not a comfortable seat. So I am going to take the most comfortable seat I can think of in that land that I'm thinking of. Um, and I've kind of already ruled it out. I've kind of already ruled out its sister attraction in this land because I said it's exactly like Rise of the Resistance, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Put me on Roger Rabbit's cartoon spin here, the weirdest, randomest pick in our draft possibly ever. But if I remember right, there's some kind of padding on that bench. Eric would know because he worked it. I've gotten a picture of him in that costume. And trust me, folks, it is a doozy. But I think this one's more comfortable than some of the other attractions you would find. Certainly more comfortable than sitting on a bench like it at Small World or at Pirates of the Caribbean. The Omnimovers don't feel great most of the time. Give me this one. Even though if I'm spinning, I'm very uncomfortable. If I'm standing still, I think this one works, Eric.
It's awful.
All
I
right.
hate every second of it. It's hard, and you're jammed in with the other person, no matter who it is and what their dimensions are.
Oh, we tried.
I sorry. I love
Well,
it to death. I love it to death because I worked there. I've never been comfortable in that thing.
hey, Roger
But
Rabbit's
that's me.
cartoon spin. Matthew, what do you think?
If I remember correctly, it is a hard plastic
Ah, we tried.
seat.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
tried.
So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good place to leave it at. All right.
Round five
So
wash. Cool.
it was really a 3 round draft. So
Yeah.
the draft is over. That's it. We can't change our minds. We can't do anything else. But before Eric runs down the list, Matthew, are there any attractions at the Disneyland Resort sticking in your head? You go, that's pretty comfortable, and they completely missed it.
That's a good question. I I bet if I took some more time to think about it, I would come up with something. I will say the attraction that I worked at, Kilimanjaro Safaris, those are
Hmm.
comfortable seats. So
Oh
come over to Walt Disney
yes.
World,
Oh.
especially the driver's seat. The driver's seat
Oh
is
yeah, yeah.
because they
I'm
got
sure
to
that's
operate
great.
that thing all day. Very, very comfortable. But yeah, Disneyland, at Disneyland Resort, I'm trying to think if there's a more comfortable seat. Can't think of any off the top of my head.
I
Honestly,
feel like everything else is pretty similar.
Yeah,
yeah,
You
like
know?
we've reached the plastic benches.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking, like,
that's
oh,
most
maybe
of them.
the Tiki Room, or maybe like Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln slash A Magical World of Walt, or whatever the heck it's called.
If you're considering that a ride vehicle,
But
I mean, it
like,
certainly shows have comfortable
yeah,
seats.
yeah, shows
Yeah.
have comfortable seats, but that's not what we were really talking today. But to your point, the operation seat on Kilimanjaro Safari probably fantastic. Probably like the person operating the attraction has to feel comfortable. Casey Jr., right, Eric?
You're you're funny.
Oh, I had to bring it up anyway.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I
There's a
drove
few
that train
decades difference between when those were
yeah.
built. So to be
just
fair,
just a bit. I
yeah.
actually strained both of my hips the
Yep.
first time I sat in the driver's seat at Casey Jr. trying to learn the
Wow.
attraction. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry.
Just
Like I'm
helping
not
you relive memories.
ridiculously tall. I'm only 6'3",
Mhm.
but that thing just doesn't. Nope. It hurt. It hurt bad.
I thought about picking one of the cage cards
Yeah.
for this draft, but I decided not to on Casey Jr.'s. But anyway, that's our draft. Eric, run down the list, and then we will see in one of the weirdest episodes of Drafting the Magic where Matthew thinks who had the upper hand here.
All right, let's take a look. I had the first pick today. I went Soarin' Around the World at number one, Star Tours, The Adventures Continue at number two, the Disneyland Railroad at three, the Mark Twain Riverboat at four, and then at five, I took Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. Christian went Big Thunder Mountain at number one, Web Slingers at two, Space Mountain at three, Jesse's Critter Carousel at four, Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin at five. And at this point, we turn it over to Matthew and ask him who won this episode of Drafting the Magic.
This is really close. I had the list in front of me. I wrote down your answers as I was going through them. And so like Eric, you listed two that I just have to guess what they feel like. Christian, you put some interesting ones in here. So it's like and then each of you has at least one or two that are comfortable, right? Eric, you've got Soarin', I think that's comfortable. Mark Twain, Disneyland Railroad, like I think those are comfortable choices. Christian, you've got Space Mountain. I think it's probably one of the most comfortable seats if you're not tall, like we talked about. Um, you've got, I think Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is also cozy, cushy for a roller coaster. Web slingers. But a lot of these I'm saying that they are comfortable for what they are. So I'm actually going to give the edge to Eric because I think that those
Yes.
are vehicles that are comfortable even without me having to say despite what they are. And I do think if I were to ride Smuggler's Run, those seats do look comfortable. So I'll give the edge to Eric for this one.
That is fair.
Let's
Eric gets the
go.
W and officially ties the scoreboard on the season. It is now 6-6. I'm going to go throw up. But that being said,
Especially riding the Roger Roberts cartoon
well,
spin, Space Mountain, Thunder
what a
Mountain.
terrible pick in the last. As you read that list, I was like, that last pick probably just killed this man. That probably just threw a nail in this coffin.
I was
Oh my
stunned.
goodness.
We'll talk about it in the post show, but
Yeah,
oh
well,
my
we'll talk
goodness.
about it. Anyway, Matthew, thank you so much for being our guest judge for this episode. Make sure that everybody knows one more time where they can find all of your cool content.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Imagination Skyway. Find it on any podcast app, imaginationskyway.com, or especially on Instagram. I'm also active there.
That is Matthew Krul. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Hey, Matthew.
Thank you. Yeah, have me back anytime.
We're still laughing about it, Eric, after the fact
I that was
what a
the weirdest
wild
draft we've ever
draft,
had.
dude.
That was the weirdest draft we've ever done. 100%. It was
Oh
fun.
my
Don't get me
gosh.
wrong, it was fun because I mean, I think it was probably the most we've ever had to think on our toes as we were going
Mm-hmm.
along.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think we both. All right, look, full
We have some
disclosure.
regrets already.
You don't tell them how the sausage is made, right? But we will here. We have a break between the end of the draft and when we do this outro, and we talked about it, and
No one
just
knew that until now.
nobody knew. And we looked at each other and said, "Did we forgot Peter Pan?" Which has an entirely padded bench. You have room to stretch your legs out a little bit.
Even Indiana Jones, I mean,
Yeah.
Incredicoaster might be okay.
Eh,
Um,
those are hard. Those seats are hard.
yeah, but I mean, beyond that, like,
There's not much. And you know what I when I know that what we're doing here is the right thing to do is when people say, you know, Matthew talked to us after the draft when we were in between and
yeah.
goes, "You guys challenge yourself with that one." It's almost like, why would you do that to yourselves? Well, that's
You
what we
know,
like to do.
Main Street vehicles we could have gone down,
Thought about it.
you
Thought about
know?
it. Yeah, but once I took the railroad, that was it. I couldn't take all
But
the other ones because
is it
I could.
comfortable to sit in the basking sun on a fire truck? I don't know.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't know, and I can't. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've been on the fire truck.
mm,
I think I can't remember.
mm.
But once I took railroad, that's Main Street, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't take any of the other ones.
Regardless, this draft in the books, we're all knotted up 6-6, 12 episodes into the season, 52 episodes into this great experiment that is drafting the
Ex
match.
Boy, experiment might be the best way to put it because
Yes,
that's
sir.
all this is.
Yes, sir. Big thanks to producer Carl for helping out behind the scenes. A big thank you to you for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow wherever you can. Make sure you're participating in all the stuff we've got going on the Instagram, on the TikTok. We're on the TikTok. And pretty soon I'll stop referring to it as the TikTok,
No,
just
don't.
like
It's
we
great.
dropped the Facebook and
I like
everything else.
the is better.
But for Eric Pesolano, no, for Eric Pesolano, I'm Christian Elton. Eric, congrats on the win, buddy.
Thank you, sir. Let's do it again.
Yeah, yeah.